Mr. Chairman, this was supposed to be my report to give you my 100-day report of what we did in office. And as you know, running any business, you're only as good as the employees that you have to run a business. So we think that we've hired an outstanding staff to work with us over the next 4 years. And matter of fact, a lot of the past administration people that said this is probably the best staff that the parish has had in a long time. So I'm really excited about that. Our recreation department has gotten off to a great start. The fields and the facilities are back into the shape they're supposed to be in, and it was due to the efforts and our hard-working field crews. We also have made some strides in team organizations by making sure that we have fair competition. Our public works, drainage, and wastewater crews are doing a great job of fixing infrastructure problems permanently instead of installing Band-Aids on them. Our wastewater department recently won an award for having the best tasting water in the state, and we now reduced our unbilled water production to a mere 10%. That's a great accomplishment. Our emergency operations center is the best in the state. We are training all our parish personnel in the roles that we played during a storm event. And like I told you at our last meeting, we are the second parish in the state to be awarded the StormReady certificate. We've hired a firm to evaluate the parish employment pay policy. We have also implemented a new take-home vehicle policy to curb unnecessary use of parish-owned vehicles and trucks. We are working diligently with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and the DNR to get a permit for the West Bank Hurricane Protection Levee, and probably in the next 2 months there's going to be an exciting announcement from the Pontchartrain Levee Board on funding for our East Bank pumping stations, all of them. We applied for grants to install sheet pilings along Bayou Gauche, Mr. Hogan's project. We'll offer storm protection for the residents on the West Bank of the river. We are speaking to landowners along Highway 90 near the diversion project, seeking lands to construct a state-of-the-art boat launch. We're also looking at leasing the existing boat launch in Bayou Gauche and upgrading that facility. As you know, when you drove up to the courthouse is a clean, fresh look with new trees, landscaping, and we installed energy-efficient lightings in the parking lot. And we'll be soon erecting Welcome to St. Charles Parish signs at all locations coming into the parish. Over the next few months, we are planning to embark on our road repair program with the help of Public Works. And just Ms. Lorrie Toups should be leaving on the 20th, our financial director, just to let you know that we have interviewed 7 candidates, and we've gotten some very, very good candidates, so I think we will be in good shape. Some of the projects that we're working on, and most of them are from the past administration, is Destrehan and Hahnville wastewater treatment plants rehab, Beaupre and Lakewood sewer improvements, AMA bar screen, AMA pumping station bar screen cleaning and deck, Cousins pumping stations bar screen and deck, Evangeline culverts, road maintenance, and the Maryland Drive bridge crossing. A lot of these projects, Paradis, pump station bar screening projects, and the Schexnayder bar screening projects. A lot of these projects is some of them are 65% engineered, some of them are 75% engineered, and basically what we're doing, we're trying to evaluate. As you'll know, we've been telling you at almost every meeting the major problems we have with our infrastructure, mainly the East Bank sewer plant and the sewer problems that we have on the West Bank. So we're trying to prioritize this and see where we're going to spend our money first. I'd like to say congratulations to Shell Motiva and Norco for operating 2 years without no recordable injuries. I attended the Outstanding Scholarship Achievement reception at Hahnville High School. This reception recognized the students who have been on the superintendent's list for 3 consecutive quarters. That's quite an accomplishment. We met with the Secretary of the Department of Natural Resources, Mr. Scott Angel. Mr. Toups came to that meeting with me, and it was about the hurricane protection levee, obtaining the permits for the West Bank Hurricane Protection Levee. And at that meeting, it was determined it is now time to get everybody involved in that project into one room. Close the door and let's work this thing out. The Wildlife and Fishery, Corps of Engineers, Department of Natural Resources, EPA, whoever's involved in the project, that's going to have a decision-making authority to be in that room. Let's get this thing done, and I'm excited about that. We're having a meeting tomorrow with Rathbone Engineering Company. Of course, they have to be on board with the modified alignment that we are offering, and if they don't accept the alignment, well, we're back to square one. But in talking to Greg, I think we're in pretty good shape there. We also met with Steve Wilson, Ms. Kim, and Earl regarding the partnering opportunities for the coastal restoration project on the east bank of the river along Lake Pontchartrain. Steve seems to feel that the more money we can put on the lakeshore by putting riprap along the lakeshore, along from spillway to the kennel line, it will take some pressure off our hurricane protection levy. So any future funding that we got coming up, we applied for some grants. We're going to try to put some riprap along Lake Pontchartrain. We met with the representative of the Gulf, the German Coast Farmers Market. The market is doing real good on the east bank of the river. I think last year they took in $265,000. The farmers market on the west bank, they think it's a day of the week or the location, but it's not doing that good. Part of our plans to construct this boat launch at Highway 90, we're going to try to have a place for have the farmers market along Highway 90, which I think will give them a little more visibility. We met with employees, the wastewater employees, and I met with the representative of Curtis Environmental. The EPA is going to start requiring us to monitor our discharge water from the pumping station. To what extent, we really don't know, but it's going to be an extra cost, more tests that we're going to have to be doing. They're concerned that when people change the oil, they're dumping oil down the drains, and it eventually ends up in our pumping station, and we're pumping oil into the wetlands. So that's going to be another permitting issue. We're going to have to probably apply for another permitting permits. Met with we had our civil service award banquet this week, and I'm proud to say that a lot of our employees with 20 years service had 20 years of perfect attendance. That's quite an accomplishment. That says something about that person, and that's the kind of employees we want to keep. We attended the West Bank Hurricane Protection public meeting at SciTech the other night. As you know, they're trying to extend, Justin Parish is trying to extend their levee to the Davis Diversion Project. Although some of the residents in Amon feel that we don't need a levee there, personally, I think if we can get funding to get this levee built, we ought to get it built. So I'm sure we'll be getting some public comment about that. I signed a letter today asking the EPA to lift an administrative order on our Luling oxidation pond. This administrative order has been in effect since 1998, and we've been following all the rules and regulations for 1 year. So we asked them to lift that administrative order, and this would be the last administrative order that this parish is currently under. We received clearance from the Department of Transportation to develop a recreational area beneath the West Bank Bridge Park. Thanks to Shelley, if you went out there, you passed there today, Shelley is graciously is doing this work for nothing. He's clearing in all the trees, knocking all the trees down. So Shelley, we really want to appreciate that. If we can, we're going to name that park, that little BMX after you. But basically what we're looking to do is we're looking to put a BMX track there, and in developing this thing, we've been doing some research. Kenny Gidry from the Recreation Department has gotten with the BMX people, and this could mean like a $1.3 million economic impact to the parish. So it's quite involved, and if we build a track according to their standards, we can have one national race. It'll be covered by ESPN, and they said they have like 40,000 people coming to this, so it'd be quite something to see. And Mr. Ray Coleman, who owns the land that the Judge Shafton was talking about in Kelowna, has offered to give the parish over $1 million in dirt to help us construct this. Of course, it's not going to take $1 million in dirt, but he offered to give us $1 million in dirt to use anywhere that we want. So I'd like to thank Mr. Coleman.